Count on LEX18 News.
Open roads are giving people in East Tennessee a full view of the real scope of those devastating wildfires. A Kentucky couple barely had time to get out of their timeshare when the fires rushed into Gatlinburg, and now their vacation getaway is a pile of ash. And a second break-in at a Shelby County church ended with police killing a suspected burglar.
LEX18 News at 6 starts now.
That was our dream home. A lot of memories there.
Days after hurricane-force winds turned a few wildfires in the Tennessee hills into one of the worst disasters the state has seen, people are finally getting a look at what's left of their homes. This morning, several main roads in Gatlinburg were reopened for the first time since the town was evacuated Monday night.
And more may be lost to the fires as rescue crews continue to search for several people still missing. The latest about the Gatlinburg fires begins our LEX18 big story coverage at 6. 13 lives have been lost to the fires, and now the mayor in Sevier County says the fires damaged nearly 1,000 buildings. Some property owners have been asking why warnings weren't sent out sooner, but the mayor would only say that now isn't the time to play Monday morning quarterback. Everyone in the city with a cell phone that could get a signal from a tower was sent a message to get out of town around 9 o'clock Monday night. Park rangers from the Smoky Mountain National Park said there was nothing that could have stopped the fires that burned through more than 16,000 acres in just 24 hours.
Thousands of families made their way back into Gatlinburg today after waiting all week to see what was left of their properties. A Kentucky couple who thought their belongings might have still been inside their timeshare found it had burned to the ground this morning. LEX18's Kelsey Borzik continues our big story team coverage.
This is something else.
Asa Witt and his wife have been waiting all week to find out if their Westgate Resort timeshare and their belongings still exist.
That's where it would be, and it's not there.
His building, along with 70 others on the property, are gone.
This is not good.
Witt says they arrived to Gatlinburg from Mount Sterling on Sunday. By Monday, he says the smoke was so thick they could hardly breathe.
I just made a decision, let's just go eat, get out of here, because it had really got thick. But even at the office, you know, nobody knew.
They decided to wait it out in Pigeon Forge, not knowing they'd soon be stranded. Within 30 minutes, the parkway was closed.
This huge pile of tree limbs here all came from that burning hillside. We're told as people were trying to escape Gatlinburg and get to Pigeon Forge, they were actually having to move the burning tree limbs out of the road.
I've seen forests burn. It was unbelievable how that fire was eating that hillside.
Witt says by a stroke of luck, the safe in their room wasn't working that night. So his wife decided to bring all her jewelry along.
I never knew what the word surreal meant. I'd heard it, but I do now. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Covering the news in Sevier County, Kelsey Borza, LEX18 News.
For all the Kentuckians who visit Gatlinburg throughout the year for vacations, seeing the destruction is heartbreaking. And a Kentucky man and his family had to watch their house turn to ash, unable to do anything to stop it. Security cameras caught their vacation home going up in flames. LEX18's Haley Harmon continues our team coverage.
That was our dream home. A lot of memories there.
Chris Allen and his family live in Todd County, Kentucky, but they loved visiting Gatlinburg so much they actually bought a second home there, a vacation home they filled with countless memories over the years. So when Allen got a call from his alarm company Monday night saying his smoke alarm was going off, he never expected to see it like this. Flames shooting up near the base of the house and smoke filling up the inside.
We were pretty upset. My sister was here. We were at work. My sister was standing behind me, crying.
Security cameras on the house caught the whole thing, flames inching closer and closer before finally taking over the home. Allen and his family forced to watch it in real time from their home all the way here in Kentucky, powerless to stop it. Their 4,000 square foot, 14-person sleeping home away from home destroyed. They used it as a rental property for much of the year, but stayed there a lot themselves. A house full of memories for their family, now gone.
We're trying to decide whether we want to rebuild. Is Gatlinburg going to be the same?
Covering the news, Haley Harmon, LEX18 News.
Donations are pouring in to help those who have lost so much in East Tennessee. We were there when the East Bernstadt Fire Department out of Laurel County arrived in Gatlinburg today to deliver a truckload. They dropped off cases of bottled water and sports drinks, food, medical supplies, cleaning supplies, and clothing. The firefighters say the response has been humbling.
Tell you what, I have never been thanked more in the last 6 to 8 hours since we've left Kentucky and gotten into Tennessee than I have in a very long time. People were yelling at us in traffic, you know, thanks for coming down and helping.
East Bernstadt firefighters offered their assistance in fighting the wildfires earlier this week, but they were not called down.
More about the fires and the long recovery ahead for Eastern Tennessee is coming up at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. And check our website, LEX18.com, anytime for updates about the fires and the many relief efforts underway.
Calm and chilly is how we're going to wrap up the work week and enter the weekend, because we really don't see much happening. We have high pressure to the south, a little lower pressure to the north with the storm that just passed. On the MaxTrack Live Doppler radar, nothing in the form of showers. So really, that's been about it. The visible satellite imagery throughout the day shows where that cloud deck hang around down to about Lexington. The further south some of the clouds reached were about Richmond. That's pretty much it. Everybody south stayed nice and clear, had some sunshine, temperatures warmed up there. But now that nighttime is here, it's going to start getting cold out there. So upper 30s, lower 40s, nice and chilly. It's a little bit warmer out towards the west, Bowling Green at 48 degrees. Winds out of the northwest. 5 to 10 miles per hour means that 40 degrees is going to feel more like 34 degrees. So definitely jacket weather for tonight. But still a 0 on our severe threat index. Just not expecting anything in the form of precipitation until we get into the weekend, and more so the end of the weekend at that. And at this time, it is looking like just rain. We'll explain more of the forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Seth, thanks. Now to an update on a deadly plane crash that happened in western Kentucky. You might remember the crash in January of 2015 in Lyon County. A 7-year-old girl survived while the rest of her family died. Federal investigators now report the plane crashed because it ran out of fuel. Their report says the fuel was topped off before the plane left Florida, but it wasn't enough. 7-year-old Sailor Gutzler walked about a mile after the crash before someone found her. The NTSB has still not filed a final report on the crash.
A trial date for 2 men accused of killing a Marine outside a Lexington bar is in the books. Dewan Mulazim and Quincinio Canada have been charged with murdering Jonathan Price in 2014. Price was killed and his wife was shot during what police say was an attempted robbery outside Austin City Saloon in Woodhill. In earlier court appearances, prosecutors tried to attach other robberies to this murder trial, but a judge stopped that. The trial is set to get started May 30th of next year.
Police were able to get to a Shelby County church before a burglary suspect could get away this morning, but police say they were forced to shoot him. It happened after a separate break-in at that same church. LEX18's Carolina Buchek has more.
Church members at Simpsonville Baptist Church spent the morning cleaning up after 2 break-ins in a little more than 24 hours. The second break-in turned deadly when a Shelby County deputy opened fire, killing 22-year-old Dylan Dalzell. Police say he had a crowbar and refused to put it down.
The Sheriff's Department was involved in the shooting, and they've called and requested that we work their officer-involved shooting on their behalf.
The deputy first got to the church around 2:45 this morning when church members saw Dalzell break in. They were spending the night in the building to keep an eye out on things after the first break-in Wednesday night.
They were just trying to take care of their property to make sure they didn't have any other problems. I think they did the right thing by calling 911 and not confronting the individual themselves.
Church members say the church was vandalized. They say there are broken items and vulgar graffiti. 3 other people, Courtney Egan, Stephen Mathis, and Chastity Heitzman, have also been charged in a string of burglaries at the church. Covering the news in Shelby County, Carolina Buchek, LEX18 News.
A bus driver's sighting of a vehicle in Whitley County yesterday had search crews combing the Cumberland River today. LEX18's Lee Searcy has details about the search for a missing man's pickup in the water.
It is heart-wrenching.
For Gary Patrick's family, the waiting is torture, and even worse, the not knowing.
And I would love for my son to be found. Y'all want to hear his voice, and I want to tell him how much that we love him.
Patrick, who is 28, was last seen the day before Thanksgiving. But since then, no sign of him by phone or text, and no sign of his 1995 maroon GMC pickup truck.
But God, I don't want my son to be hurt. You know, and I ask, please, if you know anything, if you see my son, to let me know.
Then yesterday, 2 school bus drivers reported seeing a vehicle upside down here in the Cumberland River. Patrick's last known whereabouts a half a mile away. Crews searched most of the day using sonar equipment to try and locate anything resembling a vehicle. No luck. For Judy Patrick, there's still hope.
I just want to hear his voice. I don't care where he's at, who he's with. I want to know he's okay. That's all I'm asking, is he's okay. And you know, I pray to God that they find nothing in here.
Covering the news in Whitley County, Lee Searcy, LEX18 News.
A holiday tradition takes on a more somber meaning for a Nelson County family.
Last year, they used the Christmas parade to help spread the word about a missing mother of 5. This year, there's another tragedy attached to their holiday float. You'll see the community's support next on LEX18 News at 6. Crystal Rogers disappeared more than a year ago. Last month, her father, Tommy Ballard, was shot and killed by someone yet to be identified while he was hunting with his grandson.
2 mysteries that have put a damper on Christmas in Bardstown this year. But the community wanted to show the 2 are not forgotten. Chris Goodman explains.
If there was any doubt, no one was picking up where Crystal Rogers' father left off. Bardstown's annual Christmas parade eased some minds. It's something many say Bardstown needed.
Get to the light.
As soon as I saw it, my emotions just overcame me.
Just hours before,
It's very emotional for everyone here involved, as well as the town.
the final touches on the one float that wasn't about presents or candy, but rather about one family whose tragedy is felt by so many.
It's just a tribute to Tommy and to Crystal, and just to show our love and support.
A father and daughter now gone as a community tries to show their support.
We hope that they remember Tommy, they remember Crystal, they remember the family.
The float, accompanied by about 30 people, those with walking sticks, part of Crystal's search team.
It's everything to this town and what's happened.
The float was second to last in the parade.
We all want answers. That's what it's about, is answers.
Having the float in the Christmas parade reminded some of how special this time of year is and how much love the Ballard family actually needs.
It was beautiful, though, and it was very heartfelt, very heartfelt. I was so pleased that, that they did that for our community.
Covering the news in Nelson County, Chris Goodman, LEX18 News.
Seth is in next with your Storm Tracker forecast.
Well, as you've probably guessed tonight, we are missing our fearless leader in the Storm Tracker Weather Center tonight, but I think we can all agree that Bill Meck, he deserves a much-needed vacation. What we do have is meteorologist Jill Swed. She's going to be here for the 7 tonight, and of course you'll see her over the weekend as usual. But let's talk about the weather that's happening tonight, and it's going to be just another calm and chilly to even cold as we get into the morning hours, because we have got some clearing and some clouds are now starting to break up. Look at that cloud deck that sat over northern Kentucky throughout the day, stretched from Louisville to Lexington all the way out to northern Pike County, and it was thick and it kept temperatures down, so it was chilly today. On top of that, got a 5 to 10 mile per hour wind, and the wind chill factor starts to set in. But southern Kentucky stayed dry and stayed clear. Not the case for Texas, not the case for Louisiana. The Gulf Coast states are really about to get a large swath of moisture, and this is going to sit over them for the next 2 days. So northern and central Louisiana expecting flooding conditions with this system because it's taking its time trying to organize. It just doesn't have the push, the oomph, the jet stream to pull it into organization. But as we get into the end of the weekend, it will eventually bring its moisture up to our area. So by Sunday afternoon, we are expecting at least a little bit of shower activity moving through into the south and southeastern portions of the state. But as far as the snow potential, you've been hearing us talk about this all week. Could we be seeing our first flakes of the year? Likely not, because by the time the rain finally gets to us, it's going to be in the afternoon. By that time, temperatures, which are already starting at freezing in the morning, will already be well above freezing by the time the rain gets here. So it's looking like it is only going to be a rain event. dodging a bullet at this point. Now, I will show you where the snow is going to be. Obviously, the Rockies getting some. We are going to have the upper Midwest and even portions of West Virginia, portions of North Carolina expected to get just a little bit. Not going to last long, likely going to melt on contact, but there will be some at least to accumulate in some spots. We're obviously going to stay free of all of that. We do need the rain, though, so we will take it, especially in the area that's sitting in extreme drought at this time, 25%. Still in severe drought, though, most of the state at 89.7%. So we need as much as we can get, especially for areas in Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, where those fires are really kicking up. Let's talk about the drought and what's happening with it. Rainfall since January 1st, 38.2 inches. But we typically get around this date right around 41 inches of rain. So our departure from normal seems like it would be bigger with the drought that we're sitting in, but we're only back about 3 inches of rain. Now, to break even, we would need typically the amount of rain that we get in the month of October. That would not pull us out of the drought. That probably wouldn't even put a dent in the drought. To really start to counteract, we would probably need about the month of May's precipitation, over 5 inches of rain, and even then we still wouldn't be finished with this drought, because the further you sink into it, the harder it is to get out. So we'll take every drop that we can get. Seasonably cold overnight tonight. We're back in the upper 20s. So another cold one out there, brisk throughout the day of Saturday. You'll notice the clouds increasing out of the southwest as our storm gets a little bit closer to us. And once again, it's looking like mostly just a rain event at this time. Now going into the end of next week, that's when we're seeing a bigger system, a lot of cooler air, and that's when temperatures are going to be below freezing for a little bit more. So could be some more snow on that one. Whether or not it's going to stick remains to be seen.
Looks like the beginning of December.
There you go.
Thanks, Seth.
The UK Hoops team's ready to do what the football team did, win at Louisville Sunday.
And Malik Monk has a chance to score a lot of points tomorrow when UK hosts UCLA. Hear from the freshman next in LEX18 Sports.
You know, if you blink tomorrow, 2 buckets might have happened. There should be a lot of dunks, fast breaks, 3-pointers, 2 of the all-time great programs, UCLA and UK, tip off at 12:30. Alan Cutler has more with a player who's doing things he didn't even realize he could do.
To the obvious, Kentucky has great players, UCLA has great players. Both teams really like to run. Neither team is going to back off. It wouldn't be shocking, not that we're predicting it, that there will be over 180 points scored totally in this game. This team can make plays you just can't predict. How Malik Monk got this pass to Wenyon Gabriel is crazy. Not just for those watching, but Monk was surprised.
I don't even know. Zay threw me a pass, and I think I like tripped or something, and I just tried to get I seen Wenyon over there wide open, so I was just trying to get him the ball, and that's what happened.
How often do you look at something and surprise yourself when you see what you did?
Almost every game I watch, I do something crazy.
When he's recruiting, Cal doesn't believe he can tell how fast the mind of a player works. Talent is one thing, but Cal believes his team has something else.
Their minds think quick, so they can see stuff and recognize quickly. If you have to process, all right, the ball's coming to me, and I think this guy over here is going to be open. Let me try. You can't play the way we're playing.
Right here. Mentally, with all the athletes, Cal says right here is going to be the difference. Alan Cutler, LEX18 Sports.
Thanks, Alan. Sunday at 2, the 17th ranked UK Hoops team goes on the road to face rival Louisville, which is ranked 7th and coming off a loss last night to Maryland. The Wildcats have won 5 straight against the Cardinals.
I won't tell them anything not to get jacked up for this one. We need to get real jacked up for this one because we got to play at a high level, and we always do. And we've always enjoyed this competition, and it's always been a tough game, and it's always made us better.
And Lafayette plays in its 2nd straight Class 6A state title game tomorrow night. The Generals will take on Trinity at 9 o'clock down in Bowling Green. Lafayette lost to Trinity 45-7 during the regular season.
They're a great team, and I'm ready to compete with the best. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
And Dorian Kraft will have more on Lafayette's rematch with Trinity tonight on High School Sports Zone. Also, we'll have basketball. LEX18 News. We'll be right back.
Thanks for watching. NBC Nightly News is coming up next. We'll see you again at 7 on Evening Edition and on LEX18 News at 11.